am God!
Enmei stood by the teacher's desk at the front of the classroom while everyone else gathered their things. It was the end of the school day, and the class had just finished selecting their hero names for the first time. Enmei had picked the name 𝗂𝗺𝗺, a word which translated to God, and he was now flexing its approval in front of his peers.
No, you're not!
Came a shout off to one side of the classroom. Kuraiko was busy packing up her belongings in preparation to head home. She glanced up at Enmei with a twinge of annoyance, forcing one of her books a little too violently into her school bag in the process. This caused some of its pages to bend a little at the edges, forcing her to pull it back out again. She growled in frustration, attempting to smooth out the damage before it could become permanent. Kuraiko might have been known as someone who would artfully rip and tear her clothes, but she wouldn't want to do the same with books. Ruining paper just made it harder to read, and academics wasn't her strongest suit.
How many times do we have to tell you that we're not going to call you God?
She asked irritably as she replaced the book into her bag more carefully this time.
Miss Midnight approved my hero name earlier, and 𝗂𝗺𝗺 translates to God. Therefore, I am now officially the hero God.
That doesn't mean we're gonna call you God.
𝗦𝘂𝗺 told him, lifting his school back up onto one shoulder as he sat forward in his seat. Half of the class had already left by now, while the others were beginning to make their way to the front door as well. Most of them did not have the energy to argue with their arrogant classmate.
Call me 𝗂𝗺𝗺 then, if you don't want to say the word God. Then at least call me something that has the same meaning. Besides, it's my hero name, so it wouldn't even be that much of a stretch to call me that from now on.
Yeah, whatever, 𝗂𝗺𝗺. Enjoy your God complex.
Enmei glared at him.
What did you just call me?
What, 𝗂𝗺𝗺? It suits you, don't you think?
No, it doesn't.
Really? But you always claim to be a god, even though it's not true.
It is true. I am God. I've always been one, and I always will be.
Enmei insisted, stomping his foot.
Why can't any of you see that?
You're human, just like the rest of us. You just happen to have a healing quirk.
My halo is not some mere mortal quirk. It provides endless healing capabilities, and it's forever shining. Nothing can extinguish it. That's why it's called Divine Light.
I'm sure it can't be that invincible. All quirks have weaknesses.
𝗦𝘂𝗺 reasoned. He stood up and swung his bag over his other shoulder before approaching the teacher's desk, where he moved to stand in front of Enmei.
Hey, Saito! Want me to wait for ya?
Kuraiko called, having finished packing.
Nah, you and Glasses go ahead. I'll meet you guys at the arcade later.
Alright. Come on, Yoshi. Let's see if we can win more arcade tickets than Saito got last time, before he gets there today.
Yoshi, who had been waiting for his friends by the door, smiled eagerly.
Sure, we'll see.
Oh, you two are so on!
See you later.
Yoshi waved. He exited the classroom with Kuraiko, and Saito turned his attention back to Enmei. The latter was still looking at him with a glare on his face.
Are you ignoring me?
Not at all. Just had to say goodbye to my pals. But seriously, there must be some kind of weakness to your quirk.
Well, there isn't. Nothing can extinguish my light, and nothing ever will.
Not even when I do this.
Saito placed a hand on Enmei's arm and activated his own quirk. Under any normal circumstances, Saito could melt his body into a shadow-like mist that could then pass through any wall. But when he holds an object or touches a person, that object or person would transform along with him, turning them into a misty shadow as well. Enmei barely had any time to react before his body melted into a dark mist, his halo darkening along with it. His expression shifted from surprise to terror as he realized what was happening to him. He looked down at himself, then tried to move his halo closer to his eye level to get a better look at it. It was completely shrouded in shadow. Not a single speck of golden light was left to be seen when he was in this form. The effect didn't last for more than a few seconds, as Saito promptly released his grip and turned them both back to normal.
I guess there are ways to turn it dark.
That was you! You cheated!
Enmei shouted, slamming his hand on the teacher's desk.
You used some kind of black magic.
It's just my quirk. I wonder if your light could be overcome by shadow. And I guess it can.
It was a fluke!
Enmei insisted, stomping over his desk and picking up his bag. He seemed to shrink slightly and was deliberately keeping his back to Saito. They were the only two left in the classroom now, and everyone else had gone.
Don't tell me that incident spooked you. I thought gods never get scared.
Who said anything about being scared?
Enmei asked, swinging his own bag over his shoulders.
I merely have to get back to my godly duties. I don't have time to deal with non-believers like you.
Ah, come on. We didn't even get homework today.
I didn't say I was going to do homework.
Enmei replied, walking to the door.
Are you meeting up with someone after school?
Misato asked. Enmei stepped through the threshold and turned back to look at him.
Goodbye,
he said, before bolting down the corridor faster than he could remember running in recent years. Misato hurried out after him, calling out as he went.
Hey, wait! You didn't answer my question!
Enmei did not respond, but continued running, taking advantage of the crowd around him to stay out of reach. It was moments like these when having a halo was a disadvantage, as it was easily visible through most crowds.
Oh, come on, don't run away!
Misato teased as he gave chase.
I thought you said you weren't scared. Did you really get spooked by a little shadow?
Kishi's walking slowed to a stop along the familiar path on his way home. Sora stopped next to him, looking up at him curiously.
Why did you stop?
She asked. She studied his expression more closely.
Is something on your mind?
They'd been walking home together that afternoon, something they had been doing regularly since their first week of school. Sora had helped Kishi through a terrible panic attack on the first morning they met, and they had become fast friends ever since. They had made it a point to spend some lunchtimes together and even walk home with one another every other day in order to hang out. They weren't seated anywhere near each other in class. Quite the opposite, really. Their desks were located at the furthest points they could possibly be from each other, one at the left side of the frontmost row and another on the right side of the backmost row. As a result, spending time during class or during breaks was practically impossible. The two of them had found a way to make it work though, and now several months into the school year, they had agreed on a hangout schedule that worked for both of them. Sora was a planner. She liked having everything organized and linear whenever possible. Kishi was far from her only friend in class, so she had worked out a schedule in order to maximize the time she spent with all of her friends. Kishi had agreed to go along with it, partly because he had no better ideas, and partly because he was still getting used to hanging out with Sora. He had a chronic fear of girls, so being friends with her was already a little challenging for him. But he enjoyed her company and liked having her around, so he was willing to push past his phobia. Still, the thought of seeing her every single day was a little too much for him at the moment, so he was glad that he got some breaks in between. There were days where he would sit at lunch alone or walk home by himself, but that was okay. To Kishi, having time to himself at UA wasn't the worst thing. He'd been used to it growing up, and he knew that this time it wasn't because no one liked him. His classmates treated him with a lot of respect, and they were super mindful of his fear of girls. No one took advantage of him or tried to mess with him on purpose, something he was extremely grateful for. Even Isato, the class clown, never did anything more than light teasing. He would go easy on him, which definitely made his experience in class a lot more comfortable despite the large volume of girls. Kishi simply hadn't gotten to know the others well enough to consider them a friend. The exception to this was Enmei, who sat directly in front of him during lessons. Enmei was an arrogant, self-centered jerk on the best of days, but Kishi felt rather sorry for him. He knew what it was like to be scorned and hated, and most of his classmates, despite treating Kishi with respect, simply could not stand Enmei. It did not help that the latter seemed to pick a fight with every other person he talked to. He demanded respect, but the louder he asked for it, the less of it he seemed to gain. Kishi did not blame his classmates for their annoyance, but he did always believe that there was more to Enmei than met the eye. He always wanted to believe in the good in people and to give them second chances. That aside, Enmei's unwavering confidence was inspiring to him. Kishi had spent his whole life unable to stand up for himself, unable to speak his mind without fear of rejection. Enmei, on the other hand, seemed to get louder when rejected, stubbornly pressing his points forward no matter what anyone else said. Despite his obvious rudeness, Kishi wished that he could be someone more like him. He wished that he had more confidence and bravery to say what he really thought, and he wouldn't freeze up and be afraid of every tiny little thing, especially when it came to girls. So he had made it a point to try and reach out to Enmei. At first, the latter did not seem to believe that he was genuine, but little by little, Kishi seemed to be able to gain his trust. They didn't hang out as often as Kishi and Sora did, but they did still have moments where they would talk or have lunch together. Kishi had also been known to try and pull Enmei out of situations where he could get himself hurt, such as when he was picking a fight with their class rep a couple weeks ago. Though these moments were a far cry from an actual close friendship, It was a start, and Kishi already felt braver when he was around him. It was the thought of Enmei getting into trouble which had caused the blonde-haired boy to stop in his tracks on his way home that afternoon. He looked back at Sora, still marveling at the fact that he could do these days without freezing up.
Well, it's just... Do you remember how Enmei was boasting at the front of the classroom when we left?
He asked uncertainly. Sora nodded.
Yeah, that whole hero name thing was really getting to his head. Is something bothering you about that?
I'm worried about him. Sure, he's asked us to call him God before, but with his new hero name, he seemed to be pushing it harder than ever. I hope he didn't get into some kind of fight or something.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. He seemed really passionate about what he was saying.
I think I should go check up on him. I don't want to leave him there alone like this.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I should, just in case. Is that a bad idea?
Sora shook her head.
Of course not. If it was you or 𝗦𝘂𝗺𝗆𝗍, I'd feel the same way. Do you want me to come with you?
No, it's okay.
Kishi said, feeling relief wash over him.
You can go home first if you'd like. I don't know how long this will take.
Are you sure? If there is a fight or something, I don't want you to have to break it up alone.
Kishi thought about it for a moment and shook his head.
I think it will be okay, hopefully. I can usually handle myself in a physical fight. Let's just hope none of the other girls are there.
A few of them left with us, but Kuraiko might still be there.
Well, I just don't want to trouble you. Plus, I don't know if Enmei would feel comfortable if more people join the fray. He knows me well enough to know that I wouldn't fight him, but...
It's no trouble at all, but I get if you want to go alone.
Really? You don't think I'm being arrogant, or...?
Not at all, don't worry. I wouldn't insist on coming along if you don't want me to. Remember what I always tell you. We'll do anything that makes you comfortable.
Kishi smiled.
Thank you. I'll text you or something if things get out of hand.
I'll keep a lookout. Good luck and be careful.
You too, on your way home.
Kishi replied. Then he turned and made his way back towards Yue High. The afternoon was relatively peaceful. Most people seemed to be either at work or home from school. For a brief stretch of the journey back, Kishi thought he heard a pair of footsteps sneaking around past him on his right. But when he turned to look there, no one was there, so he just kept walking. He had barely approached the gate for real when someone came dashing out of it and collided squarely against his chest. Kishi stumbled backwards, catching the person in his arms, only to find that it was a shivering Enmei.
Whoa, Enmei?
He gasped, a little shocked. He relaxed his hold and looked down at his friend with concern.
Are you okay? What happened?
He asked, stepping out of the way of a gaggle of third-year boys who were passing through.
Hide me.
Enmei replied breathlessly without explanation.
He's after me.
What?
Confused but worried, Kishi let go of his friend, who promptly retreated behind him. The latter pressed up against his back, shaking, trying to make himself as small as possible. Did something awful happen while he was gone? Had Enmei got into a really bad fight and only just escaped?
Enmei, what happened?
Kishi began, but a loud voice interrupted him before he could get any answers.
There you are! Finally got up to you!
It was Saito. He ran out through the open school gates and stopped just a few meters away from Kishi. Kishi looked over at him uncertainly.
Is something wrong?
Oh, hey, Kish! Thought you left with Shorty a little bit ago.
Well, I had to come back for something. Were you looking for someone?
Oh, it was Mr. God Complex. Could have sworn he ran by here. You didn't see him, did you?
Behind him, Kishi felt Enmei grab the back of his shirt. The former shook his head.
I haven't seen him. Maybe he already went home.
Aw, that sucks! I was having fun messing with him!
Messing with him?
Kishi's voice shook a little as he asked the question. What transpired between the two of them while he was gone? His nervous reaction seemed to cause Hisato's suspicion to take hold. His eyes wandered past Kishi's shoulder and seemed to linger a little too long at whatever he could see behind him. Then he looked back at his classmate's face, taking notice of the worried expression he was wearing. His shoulders slumped and he seemed to deflate.
Don't worry about it, man. It was kinda stupid anyway. Besides, he probably already headed back home like you said.
The sudden shift of tone seemed to throw Kishi off for a moment, but he could already feel Enmei relaxing behind him.
Oh, okay then.
Kishi said, deciding to go with it so as to not prolong the encounter longer than necessary.
Besides, I have to hurry and meet my pals at the arcade before they wonder where I am.
You're hanging out with them today?
Yep, and I better get there soon before they get more game tickets than I could ever get. Kume is a challenge, you see. I'll see you around, Kish.
Misato waved a hand in farewell and turned to walk away.
See you.
Kishi replied, watching him until he was out of sight. Once the coast was clear, he relaxed his posture and turned to look at the boy behind him.
He's gone,
he told Enmei, who was now stepping out from behind him, breathing a sigh of relief.
Good. I thought he'd never leave.
Enmei walked over to the shade of a nearby tree and leaned against it, not seeming to care if any dirt got on his clothes at the moment. This was so unlike him that Kishi followed, watching him worriedly.
What happened back there?
He turned me into a shadow. My halo transformed too. I didn't think that was even possible.
He touched you and activated Shadow Mist?
Enmei nodded.
He was trying to prove a point, but I didn't think it would actually work. I'm not invincible.
He sank to his knees, still trembling. Vaguely, Kishi wondered if Enmei had ever gotten a reality check before. If he hadn't, and instead had always been led to believe that his quirk truly was something beyond mortal ability, it was no wonder that proof of his normalcy should shake him to his core. Kishi knelt down to Enmei, looking at him with concern.
I'm sorry I wasn't there when it happened. I had plans to go home with Sora today, but I should have stayed back.
Even I couldn't have predicted this. And I'm God, so you couldn't have any idea that this is gonna happen.
Still, it must have really scared you. You look really shaken up.
Enmei did not reply. He simply averted his gaze. It was clear that he was terrified. There was simply no way to hide it, even though he desperately wanted to. Kishi put a comforting hand on his shoulder.
Your quirk, it's always glowed, right? I'm guessing it's never done anything like turn into shadow before.
It's always been lit. It's never dimmed even a little.
Enmei cried, putting his hands up to his halo as if to check it was still functioning.
I didn't think you could darken like that. That Saito is a menace. He's evil. He's demonic.
Demonic might be going a bit far.
Well, he is.
Enmei insisted, a pair of teardrops shining in his eyes.
I haven't encountered anyone like him before.
He buried his face in his hands and huddled closer to Kishi. Soft sobs soon filled the afternoon air, though it was drowned out by the crowd of students around them. Kishi heard the cries though, and patted Enmei gently on the back as he wept.
Hey, why don't we stick together more often from now on so that I can always be around if he comes after you? He left us both alone when you hid behind me earlier.
Enmei looked up, wiping the tears from his cheeks.
Are you offering your services to me?
Well, sort of. It's more like I'm offering to look out for you so you wouldn't have to go through something like this on your own.
So, you want to be my personal bodyguard?
Enmei concluded, straightening up a little. Kishi couldn't help but be amused. He'd always found Enmei's antics rather intriguing, though he'd also been around him long enough to know that to him, his perceptions felt very real.
Sure, let's go with that. Though, at the end of the day, I really just want to be your friend. Just like I told you the first day we talked. And because of that, I care about you and don't want you to be alone. Especially if there's someone in class who makes you uncomfortable.
Enmei considered this for a moment, shifting his position so that his feet wouldn't fall asleep from kneeling on the hard ground too long.
I suppose your service has proven adequate so far. Plus, your companionship has been rather constant over the last few weeks.
So, that's okay? You wouldn't mind if I hung out with you more often?
Kishi asked, rather eagerly. It would mean that he'd get to spend more time with Enmei, maybe get to know him a little better. Up till this point, he'd been taking things slow, not wanting to intrude in case he was overdoing it. He didn't want to make Enmei feel uncomfortable after all, especially when all of their other classmates acted hostile towards him. He didn't want to give off the wrong impressions, or make it look like he just wanted something out of their interactions. But if Enmei didn't mind his company and was alright with Kishi looking out for him more often, it would mean they might have an opportunity to really bond.
You have your god's permission to be around him more often. Perhaps your services could even keep the demon at bay.
I'd be happy to help. And to spend more time with you.
He offered Enmei a soft smile and was almost surprised to find that he got one in return. The latter got to his feet and brushed off some dirt off his pants.
Now, my loyal servant, we should make our way back home to be cleansed, lest the dirt and grime of this place gets to us.
Kishi got to his feet as well, a soft laugh escaping his lips.
We really should. It's been a long day.
Together, they headed back onto the path leading up to the school gates and started towards the nearest street. It was the first of many such homebound walks, and the future looked bright for the two of them as they journeyed through the afternoon sunlight.